Hey guys, welcome back to Adlib Talk, and this is my review for the series Vikings Valhalla. Gore, guts, beards and blades. Vikings Valhalla is a simple series in truth. To be fair, after reviewing complex movies like Titan, it's nice to relax and watch something like this. It's basically mindless fun. But before I get into more details, as always guys, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and please do consider subscribing, as those are the two main ways you can help support my channel right here at Adlib Talk. Cheers, and now let's get right into that review.
Did you just arrive from that storm?
I did.
And tell us your name.
Leif Erikson.
So, Vikings Valhalla is a historical drama series recently released on Netflix, created by Jeb Stuart exclusively for the platform. It is a sequel to the original Viking series and continues 100 years after the events of the original Vikings, meaning that we get only small references to our beloved characters like Ragnar, Lagertha and Bjorn. The setting is probably the best part of the whole thing. I think creator Jeb Stuart selected the perfect period of time for a new series based on Vikings, and he will basically be able to cover a decent period of time here till basically 1066 with the defeat of Harald Hardrada in the Battle of Stamford Bridge, which marked the end of the Viking Age in England. So we get to see a lot of very interesting historical figures in this series, with characters like Freydis Erisdottir, Harald Sigurdsson, King Canute and Leif Erikson, amongst others. The history itself is fascinating, but clearly the showrunners are playing very loose with the historical accuracy here. So do not come into this series thinking you're going to actually learn any true history. But if it makes you want to research these characters, I think it's already doing a pretty decent job. I think that what this series does really well is set up a group of characters, these fascinating characters, who are all taking part in an extremely important period of history, which would define the future of both England, yet also of Scandinavia. The introduction of Christianity into the Viking culture is a significant change to the original Viking series and provides the showrunners with a large potential of new storytelling possibilities, of which they make, I think, very good use of, as we see pagan and Christian Vikings constantly at each other's throats. But let's take a step back. The basic premise here is that Leif, his sister Freydis and their friends have arrived in Norway after a long voyage. Tensions between the Vikings and the English are at an all-time high, with St. Brice's Day massacre taking place in 1002, in which, under the order of King Aethelred the Unready, the English slaughtered all the Vikings who had settled in England. 1 year later, the Vikings, under the rule of King Canute and also led by brave warriors like Prince Harald and Prince Olaf, decide to cross the ocean and take the battle to the gates of London. Leif and his friends end up part of this epic campaign. In the meantime, the clash between pagan and Christians grows ever more serious, with some Christians actually becoming pagan hunters. The cast of characters we have here are vast, and many of them have great potential for interesting storylines. Unfortunately for now, the only two characters who have had any kind of true character development are Freydis and Harald Sigurdsson, who would later become known as Harald Hardrada. Freydis, acted by Frida Gustafsson, is the fiery daughter of Eric the Red, a woman who has been attacked and raped by a Christian Viking who even carved a cross into her back. Eventually gets her revenge, and this is what leads to Leif and his friends to join the campaign to England. However, Freydis' storyline plays out in Kattegat as we learn more about her and her destiny, eventually even becoming a shield maiden. Her conflict with Jarl Kåre, played by Asbjørn Krogh Nissen, is interesting enough, as he plays an excellent antagonist and is quite an intimidating presence. Frida Gustafsson portrays the fiery Viking well, and you could really feel the passion. Harald Sigurdsson, on the other hand, acted very well by Leosuter, is a very charismatic presence in the story. Leif Erikson, who is one of our more important protagonists, is, to be honest, quite a plain character. I sometimes feel the portrayal given by Sam Corlett, although we should probably blame the writing here, is a little on the too good side of things. It feels like Leif can do everything well, can beat everyone easily, and can basically do no wrong. However, the ending offers great potential for season 2, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of what Sam Corlett can do with the character. Finally, my favorite performance was by Bradley Freegard, who proves to be an excellent King Canute. The role requires charisma and a good physical presence, and he offers both and more. The writing is decent enough, nothing too special here, but it gets the job done. The story does slow down a bit too much at times, and I feel that after the 4th episode, which was excellently written and directed, the pacing slows down way too much. And to be fair, we do get some time to learn a bit more about our characters, but the series is at its best when we see Canute leading his Viking warriors into battle and cleverly outmaneuvering his enemies. There is a lot of politics and backstabbing in this series, which I particularly liked. I was actually impressed by how many times I didn't see a certain betrayal approaching. Visually, the series is quite impressive. A big budget has been used here, and it shows in the battle scenes, with 2 in particular proving to be quite impressive, especially in their scale. The first battle in episode 4 was very enjoyable, as we got to experience the Battle of London Bridge, especially because it combined with some very clever tactics and strategies by the Vikings under the rule of King Canute. It is bloody and quite epic, and to be honest, that's all I expected out of this series. Fortunately, the characters are mostly likable. The series has some very memorable moments and some very memorable villains, with Jarl Kåre particularly proving to be an effective antagonist. And overall, I must say, I really enjoyed binging this series. It's not perfect, mind you. Like I said, a lot of work needs to go into the pacing here. It slows down way too much in the middle part of this series. And a lot of work even needs to go into making our protagonist, Leif, a little more interesting. Fortunately, like I said, events that took place at the end of the final episode seem to indicate just this, which is a very good thing. But for now, my rating for Vikings Valhalla is a good 3.5 out of 5, and my suggestion for anyone looking for a series to replace the old Vikings series or is just interested in a fun romp at the start of the 11th century.
You are here because you are Vikings!
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that review. And if you did, as always, don't forget to leave a like on this video and please do consider subscribing. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Adlib Talk.